Kazakhstan's mining industry plays a key role in addressing climate change and accelerating the energy transition, driven by its vast reserves of critical raw materials and international partnerships. As part of its national development plan, the country aims to increase mineral production by 40% by 2029, positioning itself as a vital supplier for renewable energy technologies. Kazakhstan is strengthening collaborations with global partners, including the EU, UK, Canada, and the USA, to secure raw materials, refined products, and renewable hydrogen, focusing on sustainability and local value chain development. These efforts align with the nation's push to digitize its mining sector, with 192 ongoing projects under the 2018 to 2025 plan, 79 of which are already completed, improving data management and efficiency. Foreign partnerships are crucial to overcoming challenges in mineral processing, infrastructure, and sustainability. This session brings together ambassadors and senior diplomats from the UK, Switzerland, Finland, France, Canada, the US, and Germany to discuss how Kazakhstan's resources and strategic vision can foster global energy security and climate resilience.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear ambassadors, dear guests, welcome to this session.
Dear guests, good morning and welcome to our session, for today's session devoted to the discussion on Kazakhstan mining industry, foreign partnership and opportunities. So we are honored today to have ambassadors of United Kingdom, Switzerland, Finland, France, and the mission of US and Germany. So your presence highlights the global importance of international cooperation and partnership in advancing Kazakhstan's mining sector. And I hope that this session will be a valuable opportunity and provide valuable opportunity to explore growth, to explore foreign expertise and investment in the growth of this mining industry in Kazakhstan. This session will be in the format of discussion and conversation. So let us begin. And we will go according to protocol, and I would like to start with Her Excellency Keith Leach, His Majesty's Ambassador to the Republic of Kazakhstan. Ambassador, it's a pleasure to have you here and to speak you first. And having played active role in fostering UK and Kazakhstan relations over the past 4 years, what changes you observed in the industry during this time, and what are your predictions for the next 12 months?
Thank you for the question. And yes, I think this is at least my third MINEX conference, if not my fourth. I was pleased last night to welcome to my residence a number of British companies and Kazakh companies who have been working here for the last 3 years. But every year there are new companies. So I think my first comment about the changes I've seen over the last 3.5 years since I've been in Kazakhstan is this increasing confidence and enthusiasm, increasing number of players coming to the market, and we know why. We know it's because of the changes to the mining code in 2018, the continuing developments to align Kazakhstan with international standards, the joining of CRISCO in 2023, and the other work, which I think the panel earlier was discussing, some of the work to digitize processes, to make it easier for certainly foreign companies to come into the market. And I think, again, it may have been quoted already this morning, but the figure that I think really tells the story is the number of mining licenses for exploration, which has been issued over the last 7 years since the mining code was changed. I think the figures are something like, between 1991 and 2018, just over 600 mining licenses for exploration were issued, and since 2018, over 3,000. And I think there's now an area, the equivalent equivalent of the United Kingdom, which has been given as mining licenses, exploration licenses. So this demonstrates the dynamism in the sector, the confidence that we hear. And certainly we see more and more British companies, big globals and majors and juniors. And of course, my colleagues, the EU, the US, and us ourselves, we've been trying to signal that through the different documents that we've been signing. In our case, 2 years ago, the Memorandum of Understanding, which our Foreign Secretary signed on his visit to Astana, and last year a roadmap, which we're currently in the process of updating. And I would also point another really important development, of course, is the establishment of the Chamber of Mines, which you represent, I think in November 23. Again, filling a gap, understanding that the foreign mining community, foreign mining companies needed to elevate their voice as very important discussions were happening in government about future legislation. And so, although at the moment we're facing a period of economic uncertainty, global economic uncertainty, what I would say for the future is this makes it even more important for Kazakhstan to continue to align itself with international standards in order, in a global competition for capital, in order to keep being a really attractive destination for international finance. So I can't stress really, I think this is my most important point, it's how important it is for Kazakhstan to keep doing the work, to keep making the reforms, improving the bureaucracy, keep going in order to make sure that it maintains that image and that position for global mining companies as a stable, predictable jurisdiction. And we know at the moment there are discussions in the Majlis about potentially amending the 2018 mining code, potentially from our perspective taking a step back from the transparency and the first come first served principle, which is integral to the 2018 mining code. And I believe that sensible heads will prevail, and that people will understand the importance of aligning, continuing to align with international standards, because we know that it still takes at least 16 years from exploration to production to bring a new mine into production. At least 16 years. That's the kind of global average. Sometimes it can take longer. So that really underlines why stable, predictable legislation is the fundamental prerequisite for these long-term commitments and these long-term investments. But as I say, at the moment what I see is a really positive development, and I think in the future, over the next 12 months, what I'd like to see is the proposed changes from the mineral extraction tax to a royalty-based system of taxation in the new tax code. I think that will be a really important step forward. We are continuing to work really closely with the National Geological Survey. We've brought British Geological Survey in, and again a number of my colleagues have brought their geological surveys in to provide expertise and to open the data. Again, a huge prerequisite if you want to attract mining companies, juniors, who traditionally find the majority of the new finds. And I would also stress capability development. The former Minister for Industry talked about the growth in the number of graduates in Kazakhstan going into mining degrees. I think a growth from 2,000 to 3,000 over the last couple of years. And in January, our famous Camborne School of Mines in Exeter University signed an MOU of cooperation with Sapayev University, which we hope will lead to further collaboration, perhaps a joint master's program or other undergraduate programs to build the next generation of mining engineers. Globally, there's a shortage, and Kazakhstan, I think, has a wonderful opportunity to fill that gap. And we also, in the last year, started our first critical minerals Minerals joint venture. So I look forward in the coming year to building on that. I think waste recycling is one of the areas that's going to be a really important area actually in critical minerals. So not just finding new deposits, but actually looking at the tailings, the waste deposits that Kazakhstan has in traditional mines and using new technology, new R&D to extract in a cost-effective way lots of critical minerals. So I think very briefly to give an overview, those are some of the really interesting development that we see. But overall, I want to again flag our confidence in this sector and the growing number of British companies, from juniors doing exploration through to R&D companies, through to universities, who see a huge opportunity in the coming 12 months. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Ambassador. Yes, it was obvious, we've seen yesterday from the reception that we're noting actually every year that the number of companies are coming is growing. And if I may ask, I have another question. What are new projects are being explored between UK and Kazakhstan in the field of ESG standards, decarbonization, and what outcomes are expected from these cooperation initiatives?
So I would say ESG standards are critical to every single British company involved in the mining supply chain. So it's a critical pillar in our roadmap, and it's one of the reasons I mentioned waste recycling actually, because I think waste recycling is one of the areas where actually you have a chance to turn sort of toxic waste into something useful and to make sure then you're disposing of the waste in a responsible way. So that's one of the things I'd point to. I mean, I think otherwise, you mentioned decarbonisation. At the beginning of March, my colleagues took a mission from Kazakhstan to the UK, looking at decarbonising industry, not specifically focused on the mining sector, but looking at decarbonising heavy industry generally. And that mission spent a week in the UK, in London, and in Wales, which of course, again, Wales in some ways has many parallels with Kazakhstan, a traditional heavy industry and mining sector, which is now developing a 21st century modern industry, particularly looking, for example, at developing hydrogen as a replacement fuel, looking at repurposing old coal-fired power stations into battery parks, developing other kinds of renewable energy. So I think that joint mission, which included representatives of ministries and industries and the Development Bank of Kazakhstan and other financing organizations, I think it was really good food for thought on how you can turn a 20th century industrial sector into a 21st century ESG compliant sector, which is building new infrastructure, creating new good jobs, and helping to revive a part of the country, in our case Wales, which had suffered very much from deindustrialization and from changes in energy patterns. So I hope some really good lessons were taken from that.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for the full explanation and this information and your time and role dedicating in fostering relationship between UK and Kazakhstan. Ladies and gentlemen, and we are honored today to have His Excellency Salman Bal, Ambassador of Switzerland to the Republic of Kazakhstan, with us to offer insight to Switzerland's perspective and experience. Your Excellency, thank you for being with us. And to begin the conversation with you, may I invite you to reflect on the following. Switzerland plays influential role in the global commodities trade. So my question is, why has Switzerland become such a central location for trading in commodities?
Hello to everybody and good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Indeed, a very interesting question because, as you said, we play a very important role in the trading, although Switzerland is not a main mining nation. So let me say a few words how this has happened. Switzerland has a long history when it comes to commodity trading. Its origins go back to the 15th century when merchants from North and South, East and West Europe met at the crossroads in Switzerland at crossing market points. The 19th not only crossing market points, I would say, and there I always make a similarity to Kazakhstan, we actually are also at the main transport roads, north, south, east, west of Europe. So this played an essential role why we became a trading nation. The 19th century, with the Industrial Revolution, saw the development of powerful family-owned trading businesses based around the country's main industrial and commercial centers. In the first half of the last century, Switzerland was positioned to become the ideal location for business in Europe. The Swiss franc was, like the US dollar, among the very few exchangeable currencies. Moreover, the high-quality infrastructure, the well-functioning banking and insurance system, the economic and political stability were successful for the international trading. And of course, in Switzerland during the Second World War, there was very, very little destruction, if at all, so the whole infrastructure was still in place. During the Cold War period, Switzerland further developed this sector to become a global trading center for cotton, grain, coffee, oil, gas, and so on. The main reasons for this success, which are to be found in the framework conditions of our economy and in the existence of services linked to trading, here I'm talking about the banking system, professional insurance system, certification and professional advice, but also the reliability on a highly developed infrastructure, economic and political stability, as well as a highly qualified workforce combined with a world-class educational system and research institute. Of course, the access to our political decision-takings based on our political system is also much easier and less complex than in other countries, which makes Switzerland also attractive for this.
My second question is, the trading, mining and extraction sectors are regularly being criticized. And what is Switzerland doing to address these concerns? And especially bearing in mind that most of foreign companies are located in your country.
Yes. Indeed, I already mentioned that our economy does not rely as such on rare materials and on mineral imports. However, we are deeply integrated into the global markets, the supply chains and other elements which make us also part of the global system. So if these supply chains are interrupted, of course, that has also an impact on us. Now, how do we position ourselves in this global world? I'm going to repeat what I just said because I think these are really crucial elements in the sense that we pride ourselves on our stable political and legal system, functioning infrastructure, competitive taxes, predictable regulations, and I think that's important, predictable regulations. Investors and business leaders generally, when I talk to them here in Kazakhstan or elsewhere, they say one of the features they most appreciate in Switzerland, I already mentioned, is this easy access to decision takers at all levels. Municipal level, oblast level, we call it canton, and the federal level. We also work hard to ensure that we keep our standards. The world is moving, being it infrastructure, being it education, being it the needs of the sector, that we keep the standards. Our strategy is to prioritize stability, robust supply chains, and leveraging Switzerland's strengths as a trusted global partner, and to ensure sustainable solutions tailored to our needs. Commodity traders in Switzerland ship and trade critical raw materials and other commodities throughout the world, thereby ensuring that supply chains remain reliable and efficient even in volatile markets. As you said, commodity traders have made important efforts in becoming more transparent, accountable, and above all more responsible, but there's also criticism. So how do we react to this? We focus very much as a place with many trading companies. We pay important attention that the issues of transparency, accountability, and responsibility are taken seriously into account. The Swiss authorities have, in this regard, reinforced relevant legislation. Swiss mining companies are due to state their payments related to extraction to government entities around the world. The Swiss government could extend this to traders should this be adopted internationally. Also, Swiss-based companies are required to maintain due diligence aimed, amongst other, at transparency and sustainability. To address this kind of challenges associated with extractive industry, our Ministry of Economy has further developed a portfolio of interventions at aiming against sustainability, transparency, and governance. This work aligns with key recommendations from government background report on commodities, including those to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Gold Supply Chains, Corporate Social Responsibilities, CSR, in the trading industry, and development cooperation. In addition, Swiss government expects Swiss companies to apply internationally recognized CSR standards and guidelines wherever they operate. There's also the government's voice asking the companies to apply more and more Swiss standards abroad, which is also being strengthened more and more. Further, Switzerland actively contributes to the Extractive's global pragmatic support multi-donor trust fund managed by the World Bank. This collaboration enables my country to address critical issues like governance reforms, artisanal and small-scale mining, and environment sustainability. Switzerland also contributed to the Responsible Mining Index and the Extractive Commodity Trading Reports in 2023. These reports evaluate the practice of mining and commodity trading companies worldwide, focusing on their impact on economic development, environmental management, social well-being, and governance. By fostering transparency and accountability, my country contributes to better mining practices globally. I leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I have my last question regarding the cooperation future projects. As we know, Switzerland operates 4 nuclear power plants, and they have been central in developing its energy and to have built significant expertise, and nuclear safety. And you know that Kazakhstan now is moving towards this project and towards its first nuclear power plant. So, Your Excellency, do you see opportunities for cooperation between Switzerland and Kazakhstan and this initiative?
Thank you for this question. Let me start maybe with some general observation. Kazakhstan is Switzerland's most important trading partner in Central Asia. With around $35 billion since 2005, Switzerland is the third biggest investor in Kazakhstan. Many Swiss companies are successfully operating in Kazakhstan, and some of them in the mining sector. Also to be mentioned, 3 Swiss companies are among the top 3 taxpayers in Kazakhstan. Last but not least, a very short comment on the signing of the first ever contract for supply of Kazakh natural uranium to the Swiss company called Axpo. It was actually last month. Kazatomprom and Axpo signed an agreement that diversifies the supply of uranium to Switzerland. Nuclear energy is a key element of Switzerland's energy, so having now made this contract, it will be the very first uranium import from Kazakhstan to Switzerland. Taking also into account that officially announced that Kazakhstan will build a nuclear power plant. We in Switzerland, we have at the moment 4 nuclear power plants that are running. So there might be interesting cooperation possibilities between Kazakhstan and Switzerland on certain aspects of the power plant that will be built in Ulken. In general, I see a big potential in the economic cooperation. We are at a good starting point, but this potential is still there. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And let us move with our protocol. So now I would like to ask a question, His Excellency Jan Heiskanen, Ambassador of Finland to the Republic of Kazakhstan. So what are the projects on your side you're planning, you have initiated with the Kazakhstani mining sector or maybe with other sectors as well?
Thank you very much, and Salamat Sisbe. Finland is a small country in the north, but we do have extensive experience in various fields related to mining. As our colleague from Switzerland said, we are not a major mining country here in Kazakhstan, but we do have some know-how and knowledge that I've been happy to see are being utilized here in Kazakhstan as well, but I would like to expand, if I may, a little bit more what's been going on and what might be some future areas for cooperation. As a small country, we believe in partnerships, international partnerships and cooperation. And we've been working with Kazakhstan already in developing critical raw materials, addressing climate change mitigation and energy transition. Our experience relates both to sustainable mining practices, which we've been working hard on over the past few years, as well as geological mapping of our grounds. And we already heard GTK, the Finnish Geological Survey or Research Center mentioned here. I was happy to note that as well. We have strong and well-established actors with experience on both public and private sectors. And of course, we are very much interested in expanding cooperation and continuing it also here in Kazakhstan, also with new partners. Especially critical raw materials are a promising sector, and there is lots of room for cooperation. But it should be done, we believe, in a way that ensures sustainability, takes into account environment and its protection. And also, it should be done in a way that benefits the host country, Kazakhstan in this case. I'll mention a few words about the companies already active here. Metso is a global leader in providing advanced technological solutions across the entire value chain, from ore extraction to methanol processing for both the mining and metallurgical sectors. The company provides a flow sheet which maximizes highest metal recovery. And this improved recovery is directly linked to increased or lost annual revenue. Metso products also are constantly improving in order to provide higher productivity output without increase to the footprint and energy consumption. And thereby they provide lower cost of ownership and higher energy efficiency for their customers. Second company I would like to mention is EPSE, that works on waste management and especially water. They provide innovative chemical solutions for cleansing water containing heavy metals. Their patented method can remove up to 50 different metals in one treatment. And this process allows water to be recycled and reused in mineral extraction process, and it makes the process more sustainable and environmentally friendly. And since GTK, the mapping company, was already mentioned, let me mention, just for your information, that they have over 130 years of experience in mapping and sustainable resource management in Finland, and they are active in various parts of the world. And this, of course, can support Kazakhstan also in the future in improving your geological data and resource development. Then a few words about future plans. If we think about ongoing projects, I mentioned already CRM, mineral processing, and this is where Metso can continue its help, especially in supplying equipment and solutions for processing of complex ores and improving beneficiation processes here in Kazakhstan. In CRM processing, their expertise aligns with ongoing international projects focused on sustainable resource extraction and environmental impact reduction. As a concrete example regarding EPSE, together with another Finnish company called Econet, they have designed a new industrial wastewater reusing facility for a Kazakh industrial company. This project follows a successful full-scale pilot test which was conducted in 2023. The design of the facility was completed in 2024, and we hope to get the work going on this year. About new opportunities for cooperation, Metso is looking for partnerships with local mining firms for customized solutions in tailings management, water recycling, and energy-efficient processing. In their interest is also localized manufacturing of mining equipment. And then the company is also interested in knowledge-sharing initiatives, including technical training programs to upskill the local workforce. Regarding education, which is also close to the Finnish heart, I want to mention that Metso has already ongoing cooperation with Kazakh universities in training, and this is something that, of course, we are looking forward to expand if possible. And let me mention also the Finnish universities who have been looking for opportunities to work on this field as well. The Finnish embassy is located here in Astana, and we have also the Chamber of Commerce, Eastcham, which works in Almaty. So you can always contact us if you have any questions. But maybe I'll stop there and leave you with three words: environment, sustainability, and also efficiency combined with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. My next turn is we're privileged today to have His Excellency Sylvain Gueux, Ambassador of France to the Republic of Kazakhstan, to share France's perspective on the partnership and the opportunities. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us today, and let me begin with this question. Why is the partnership with Kazakhstan in the critical mineral sector important for France and important for Europe at this moment?
Спасибо за вопрос.
Thank you so much for a question. Good afternoon, dear participants. Indeed, Kazakhstan is a strategic partner of France in Europe. And of course, mutual relations had been diversified within 30 years. So on this background, I would like to say that critical minerals is very important for the trade between our countries. And of course, Kazakhstan has strategic resources. That is why it plays a key role in supplying and providing our sector. Lithium, nickel, and cobalt is very important for electric battery production and for the sector that we support by France and European Union. More than €1 billion had been already allocated in order to further develop battery production. The leading projects producers on the north of France, ACC, already launched their production and already supplied first batteries to Peugeot, and soon they're going to supply Renault. And on all of the supply, France actively participates in all of the chains of the supply. And of course, the transportation corridor is one of the key areas that we also interested in French companies like CMA-CGM already participating in this strategic logistic projects, and finance allocates significant amount of funds to in order to develop Trans-Caspian route, or as we call it, Trans-Caspian transportation route. And this will in turn secure the supply chain, and of course it will develop energy projects.
Responding at the Kazakhstan Chamber of Commerce, we have also members from 10 or 11 countries, and one of them France. And Your Excellency, I have another question. Could you share with us what cooperation projects are currently underway and in the critical mineral sector between France and Kazakhstan?
Спасибо за вопрос.
Thank you so much for your question. France and Kazakhstan regularly support political contacts on the highest level, which, of course, the evidence of which is the visit of President Tokayev to France and partnership. The roadmap that had been signed is the evidence of our commitment, and this roadmap, of course, will identify implementation of the projects on the refinery as well as processing. And of course, institutional and economical ties will be strengthened between France and Kazakhstan. This roadmap was 500,000 euro had been already allocated through the financial institute in order to implement the launch of this roadmap. This project is implemented together with National Geological Services of Kazakhstan, and includes seminars and trainings in chemistry, physics, as well as the extracting and mining domains, and predictive helping powered by AI for extracting the cobalt is one of the projects that which is based on the grant by the French companies Emirate and Eremis, who are interested in opportunities to develop their business in Kazakhstan. And in France, we will have the delegation of the highest level of Kazakhstan that will also open some other opportunities. Thank you for your attention.
And now let me introduce Deborah Robinson, Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Mission to Kazakhstan. Welcome to this session. Currently, we have joined only one member company from the U.S. In the Kazakhstan Chamber of Mines, and highlighting the opportunity to expand U.S. engagement in our mining sector. I have a question. How can the United States and Kazakhstan further enhance their cooperation in the mining sector to attract more U.S. investments?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Let me just start by saying that the United States and Kazakhstan have built a strong foundation of cooperation over the past 30 years since Kazakhstan's independence, and so we believe that this is another area where we can continue to strengthen our relationship through strategic initiatives in the critical mineral sector. We think that Kazakhstan, there's a lot of global interest right now in critical minerals, obviously, and so we think Kazakhstan has a great opportunity to capitalize on this global interest and in securing supply chains for critical minerals, and both critical minerals and rare earth elements. And this demand, coupled with Kazakhstan's estimated reserves, has the potential to attract a lot of foreign capital into the mining sector and then stimulate overall economic development. And, as some of my colleagues have pointed out, though, that just because there's global demand, it actually means that Kazakhstan has to compete with the other markets and investment destinations in the world, to include North and South America, Africa, Australia, to name a few. It's an increasingly competitive global market, and Kazakhstan is going to have to compete. Kazakhstan's made a lot of progress, as my colleagues have discussed, and specifically in integrating its critical mineral sector into the global supply chains, including by joining the Mineral Security Partnership Forum, to name one example. Taking these kind of steps sends clear signals that Kazakhstan is ready to promote responsible sourcing practices and contributing to strengthening the global supply chains. Specifically when it comes to the United States and U.S. businesses looking to invest in Kazakhstan, one of the things that we do to help U.S. companies find local partnerships or local partners and establish joint ventures here in Kazakhstan is roadshows, trade missions, and other matchmaking opportunities. Here soon, in about a month, we, the U.S. Embassy, will host a webinar for U.S. companies that are interested in joining the sector, and we look forward to creating more opportunities to create these kind of matchmaking opportunities. Specifically, President Trump announced an executive order called Unleashing American Energy, and under that order, we're looking to enhance cooperation with Kazakhstan and support U.S. private sector companies. One company that you mentioned working in this field is Cove Capital, and we're pleased that they've received 13 minerals concessions to work in various areas, beryllium, lithium, et cetera. And they've demonstrated their commitment to working in this sphere by establishing a joint venture with Tauken Samruk for the exploration of the Akbulak rare earth project. And we hope that Cove will continue to expand its operations here, perhaps receive more concessions, and we believe that their success in this market will lead to other U.S. companies looking to join, looking to work in Kazakhstan, and with them they'll bring their technological expertise and tangible investments. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. What steps can be taken to improve investment climate on your view and in regulatory transparency in Kazakhstan's mining sector?
Yeah, this is a question that a lot of my colleagues have addressed here today. I was writing down some of these words that we use also: transparency, accountability, predictability, responsibility. And the United States wants to partner with Kazakhstan in developing this sector in a transparent and competitive manner. Three of the things that we would highlight that have been mentioned and has been talked about already today is strengthening the capacity of institutions that are responsible for the exploration, extraction, and processing. And as my colleagues have mentioned, that one of the ways to do this is to ensure that the existing data is accurate and it's available to investors, and then by conducting targeted surveys in the most promising areas. It's already been discussed. And Kazakhstan has made significant progress in this field in reducing bureaucracy and digitizing their processes, but they'll have to continue to do more to continue to attract the foreign investment. The second area that I would highlight is to make sure that the mining, extraction, and the permitting laws facilitate investments and are transparent. With an open and competitive tender process will increase transparency and create that more favorable environment. Again, a common theme here that when U.S. companies are looking to invest, they're looking for transparency, predictability, and a level playing field. And so providing this and then providing companies with information on tenders and commercial opportunities will increase the chances that U.S. businesses will enter into Kazakhstan's market. And then the last thing I would say is that a market requires efficient administration of fair and transparent tax systems, which benefit the expansion of the private sector. Investors want to be sure that their investments are protected by clear and fair implementation and interpretation of legislation. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I have a question to Ulrich Kinne, Deputy Head of Mission and Economic Counselor, German Embassy. Could you please share with your observations and plans for developing cooperation between Germany and Kazakhstan?
Yes, thank you very much. I know, of course, it's a very difficult situation to be now between you and the lunch, so I'll make it short. Basically, I wanted to announce that we are planning at least 2 business delegations this year and next, covering the whole value chain, from mining through processing, logistics, and use of the raw materials or processed raw materials. Given the specific economic structure of Germany, I mean, we're not heavily invested in mining itself. Of course, President Tokayev met the leadership of HMS Bergbau when he visited Berlin in 2023, and HMS Bergbau is planning to invest 500 million euros in lithium mining and processing in East Kazakhstan. The CEO of HMS Bergbau also accompanied the Chancellor when he was here in September 2024, together with the CEO of Al Rubis, which is one of the world-leading copper producers and recycling companies. So with this initiative, I mean, we did the regulatory framework is set. We have a raw materials agreement since 2012. In 2023, our geological surveys signed a memorandum of understanding, but it's taken some time to translate this into concrete projects, and we hope by bringing in those very broad business delegations that might lead to a consortium that can then agree also long-term supply commitments, which are of course very important for such an investment, can bring more localization, of course, of processing. We heard that only 16% of copper is processed here. That's of course by far too low. And of course there's a clear German interest also to have more processing, or European interest to have more processing here, as it also will lower the logistical challenges because it will be less volume, and the Trans-Caspian transport corridor will become more competitive. And also bring in more technology, which will help Kazakhstan lower its carbon footprint and keep Kazakhstan exports to the European Union competitive after the entry into force of the Common Border Adjustment Mechanism. And I see a lot of potential interest of German companies thanks to another EU regulation, the Critical Raw Materials Act, which forces European companies, including German companies, to diversify their sourcing of raw materials. And precisely the fact that there has been underinvestment in Kazakhstan, as we've learned, makes it, I think, a very attractive investment destination if all the regulatory framework requirements are met, of course, as obviously German companies have not sourced as many raw materials here and processed them here as they could, but they have to after this, according to this European Union Act. And it's true that you find many of those materials in other places too, but I don't think they're necessarily much better located than Kazakhstan for offtake in Europe, and especially Germany is a very important off-taker of those raw materials and their derivatives. So, in a nutshell, and I invite everybody to let me know who they would consider to be useful partners for such an endeavor on the Kazakh side, to meet those delegations when they come here, and who will hopefully be working on this cover, as I said, the whole value chain, the little bit of mining we have in Germany, of course. We hope we will bring HMS and Rubis on board, but of course the supply industry, which is very important and also is at work in Kazakhstan already, as I could see during many visits here of facilities, through processing, logistics, and offtake. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it seems we have left a few minutes, and if there are questions from the audience, we are, I think, happy to take. So no questions. then it's time for lunch, probably. So as we conclude today's insightful discussion, it's clear that international partnerships are the key to driving growth and sustainability in Kazakhstan's mining sector. So the valuable perspectives shared by our distinguished ambassadors have highlighted many exciting opportunities for collaboration. Your Excellencies, thank you very much for your active participation today, and we look forward to working together and achieving mutual successes in the years ahead. Thank you.
Kazakhstan's mining industry plays a key role in addressing climate change and accelerating the energy transition, driven by its vast reserves of critical raw materials and international partnerships. As part of its national development plan, the country aims to increase mineral production by 40% by 2029, positioning itself as a vital supplier for renewable energy technologies. Kazakhstan is strengthening collaborations with global partners, including the EU, UK, Canada, and the USA, to secure raw materials, refined products, and renewable hydrogen, focusing on sustainability and local value chain development. These efforts align with the nation's push to digitize its mining sector, with 192 ongoing projects under the 2018 to 2025 plan, 79 of which are already completed, improving data management and efficiency. Foreign partnerships are crucial to overcoming challenges in mineral processing, infrastructure, and sustainability. This session brings together ambassadors and senior diplomats from the UK, Switzerland, Finland, France, Canada, the US, and Germany to discuss how Kazakhstan's resources and strategic vision can foster global energy security and climate resilience.